Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Fitness Friday Posi-TIPS with Rachelle. Folks, last time I concluded that particular episode by highlighting the importance of doing your homework, evaluating market potential. I mean, it's wonderful to think and go by hunches, and I'm an intuitive person myself to think, oh, this will be great, oh, this is going to be a great solution in this area, but it is so important to take a step back, slow down, and do your homework, particularly when it comes to evaluating market potential for if you're thinking about growing, if you're thinking about entering a market, if you're thinking about growing within a market, that this whole concept of market cannibalization absolutely leads to the demise of all types of stores and facilities within the sector. And I don't want you to ever be one of them. So please, one final plea, please don't become another statistic of market cannibalization. But this time, before I head into next episode, I'm going to be highlighting, spend some few episodes talking about the promotion or the P aspect, the 4 P's of marketing being product. Last time I covered price and place or placement together. But this time I want to take a break before I shift here on into the promotion P, or that particular 4th P, by talking about the AIDA model. The AIDA model, the AIDA model, the AIDA model. And it is so, and it brought back so many memories, as I was thinking about it. I said, you know what, instead of lumping this into a promotion episode, I'm going to do a whole separate episode on AIDA, and it brought back so many memories as I thought about where I first learned about the AIDA model, and it was actually as an undergraduate in Louisiana when I was a public relations major. And so learned some great things, some great things about, from that whole experience. And it's amazing how it all comes back. But the AIDA model is very relevant to marketing, and that's why I want to include it on this particular series. So AIDA, the acronym AIDA, what does it stand for? Awareness, and some you'll also see attention, interest, desire, and action. So you're thinking about, moving a prospective member through this process. The AIDA model essentially is a process. The model is determining how someone goes from being aware of your facility or facilities or studio to actually joining and becoming a member, and that's in the action step. But the awareness, how did the person learn about it? And actually, one person that certainly comes to mind as I think about October of 2018, when I was in Shreveport, Louisiana, and I was touring, well, actually not touring, I was hearing about the upcoming, or the 4th location of Planet Fitness in that particular market, the Uri Drive location. So I'm a few doors down. I'm on Uri Drive at the pre-sale office with the district manager, Ryan Lowe. And I remember seeing him, and I'm thinking, oh, he was the manager at the flagship location. He's been promoted. So it was great to see that. He definitely deserves it. But anyway, so he's telling me about the club that's going to be opening and what their time frame is looking like and all of that. And so one thing that certainly got my attention, and what he asked, he said, so how did you hear about us? How did you, because I just walked in and said, hey, when is that new club opening? And so then he went through his sales presentation, which was absolutely right. I have a sales background, so I'm never going to shut down anyone's sales presentation. I love hearing sales presentations. So went in, okay, so when is that club, when is it going to be opening? This is right down the street from my parents' house. And so then he went into his presentation, but one of the first things he said to me was, so how did you hear about us? So how did you hear about us? And so when you have someone that certainly astutely and rightly asked that question, okay, so, well, this person saw our newer ads that we started running on TV. All right, well, this person, oh, well, they partook in the blood donor drive with LifeShare at the flagship location. Whatever the situation may be, you want to figure out, how did you hear about us? Because that will tell you. If you're advertising, you're spending a boatload of money on advertising, and if no one is coming in saying they watched your ads, and it's highly likely that they did, they just don't recall. But if they're coming in telling you, particularly if there's a certain, I walk around and see all the bus stops where the Planet Fitness in that particular market. I see all the bus stops with Planet Fitness all over town on them. Okay, well, that lets you know. People are coming in, I saw that. I saw it there. I saw it there. I saw it there. Okay, that's an effective strategy. And so when you're evaluating, what is leading to, what is contributing to most successfully the awareness of your brand, your facility, it is so important from a return on investment standpoint to find out where folks are hearing about you, where this awareness is most successfully and effectively being generated. Now, interest, so once you're aware of something, okay, that's great, all right, but then the interest. So what can pique the interest of a prospective member about your facility to really kind of give it some thought? Okay, well, this particular studio, oh, I saw the ad on TV, and oh, they have, just to make up some example, oh, they have daycare. Oh, well, that would really, childcare, well, that would really help because, I'm getting off work and then I got to go pick up my daughter and this will work well for me. All right, so then the next step, desire. Okay, so what's going to move that person from being interested to say, well, to, wow, I'm really getting interested. Yes, I'm interested in the place, but that desire is the next step where, I'm really thinking about joining that studio, becoming a member of that spinning studio. I mean, that would be great. I'm really thinking about, I really wanted to do this. I used to bike when I was, whatever. I'm really thinking about thinking about this seriously. Then the next step is from desire to action. Going in, taking a tour of the spinning studio, calling and asking questions, getting membership information, going to the website, submitting a request, perhaps for a free trial, taking that next step. And that's why certainly from a marketing standpoint, these folks got to go, this model has been studied and studied and studied across all different types of marketing. So it's important to be able to move that person along. But think about it. So from the first part of this, the AIDA model, the first part of the acronym, the awareness or the attention, okay, the advertising, from a marketing standpoint, advertising is going to drive a lot of this. Because if folks don't know who you are, and again, it could be online ads now, again, just with our digital environment, but just advertising it and generating that awareness so people even know you exist. Because if no one knows that you're there, I don't care how wonderful your facility is, how wonderful your training staff is, and how phenomenal your group classes are, if no one knows you exist, you're going to struggle. And so this marketing piece is huge, but particularly in generating the ability to generate awareness and then ultimately move folks through that step if things are handled appropriately, and if you've got strong messaging that helps to pique interest, and then you've got some compelling offers that can pull people along this progress or this process on into desire. And then, okay, now we've got a strong compelling offer, a free 7-day trial. Bam. This is going to pull them in, perhaps, just to utilize an example. So we think about advertising, and this is going to be a show and tell episode. When we think about advertising, and I told you I got a complimentary subscription to AIDA magazine, and I used to love this when I was in marketing. It's so cool to get AIDA again. And so this is actually, so you can see the leading national advertisers 2019 fact pack. All right, and so I just wanted to read something. So they talk about who the largest advertisers are, and I don't want to get into all of that in the interest of time. But what I wanted to talk about, obviously from an advertising standpoint, we know how powerful advertising is in terms of driving and generating awareness, creating awareness about a product, service, entity, fitness facility. So this is for the U.S. ad spending forecast from Zenith, 2019 forecast for total U.S. spending on major media and marketing services. $478 billion. So this is across all industries, all sectors, everything. All right, so major media. So when we think about, as you're creating your marketing campaigns, gosh, I'm generous, right? I am very generous. I'm going through all of this, but I just want to pique your interest. I mean, obviously, if you're Amazon, your strategy is going to be very different than your particular 3 facilities located in a city in the U.S. So keep that in mind. You don't have the marketing budget of Amazon. You don't have the marketing budget of Walmart. You don't have, from a fitness perspective, we know what a marketing powerhouse Planet Fitness is. You don't have that kind of marketing budget, more than likely. So I just want you to keep everything in context in terms of what your ability and what your financial situation, your marketing budget is. You've got to keep that in mind. Be realistic. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses in this situation. All right, so when we think about, and so this breaks out by major media or media types and how it is and how it all plays out. And so when we think about, so the internet, and I'm trying to think about which way I want to, I'm just gonna cover this pie graph right here. And so the internet for 2019 for the forecast for the entire year, the internet advertising spending, 46.4% of the total pie, so $106.3 billion, followed by TV. So we think about TV ads, you hear about, oh, TV is dead, oh, this and that. No, it's not. And so TV represents 29.4%, or $67.2 billion. All right, radio, 17.6 billion, or 7.7%. Newspaper, Right? You hear about, oh, newspapers are dead. Oh my goodness, everybody's reading everything online. Okay, well, not exactly. So newspapers represent 6.1% or 13.9 billion. Magazine advertising, 5.7% or 13.0 billion. Outdoor advertising, so billboards, things like that. All right, 4.3 billboards, bus stops, those type of things. 4.3% or 9.8 billion. Cinema, 1.0 billion or 0.4%. And so major media is $228.8 billion dollars. And so we've got it broken down. So marketing services, we just evaluated major media. So now we've got marketing services. So sales promotion, we're going to talk more about that on the promotion episode. So in terms of spending for 2019, 85.2 billion. Telemarketing, 60.8 billion. Direct mail, 46.5 billion. Event sponsorship, 42.7 billion. Directories, 7.9 billion. Public relations, 6.0 billion. So total marketing services, 249.1. And so there you have it. There you have it. We see now just with the shift where years ago, 20 years ago, how advertising was leading the charge in terms of advertising spending. You want to build and generate broad awareness of your product. Advertise on TV. Get some TV spots. Get some TV spots. But now we can see, even just visually, you can see the yellow here that represents internet advertising versus the red of TV. How that truly there's been a paradigm shift. And we see just with the advent of technology, you can also see here how internet spending in television is and so this is where the market is going. So this is forecasting all the way from 2019 to 2020 to 2021. So we can see they're projecting TV advertising to drastically decrease, as well as newspaper. You can see that just as 2020 and 2021 arrive, we can see these decreases, but bam, all but the internet. The internet is remaining strong, well, actually remaining strong and just growing beyond belief. And so think about that in terms of how you are generating awareness about your facility. So yeah, you may have some existing facilities, but also if you have some newer facilities and newer markets, this awareness or attention phase of the AIDA model is certainly very, very important, and it's going to take some advertising, some marketing efforts, marketing dollars in order to successfully do that, And so I want to give you a few examples here. I told you there's going to be a show and tell episode. So when you think about advertising, and I'm going to do more show and tell as I get to the promotion episode, but just wanted to, as we think about, how folks are handling this, how folks are handling the interest, awareness, the awareness, interest, desire, and action acronym. And so this is an example of, and this is this is a local example. I'm always going to have local examples because I get so much just exposure and mail with it here. So Lake Michigan Credit Union. And so in 2019, these folks have ramped up their marketing just huge, on a huge level. So I've seen billboard ads, they've got direct mail pieces, I've seen online ads. I've received, things to my home highlighting Lake Michigan. These are our rates. This is our wonderful, what we have to offer, and all of this and that. So they've got a promotion. So again, if we're taking someone from desire of, this credit union really sounds great, to, man, I've got to really try to, I've got to really go and open an account or talk to someone about a car loan or whatever, for example. But this is the compelling offer. Win a $50,000 home makeover. So the compelling promotional offer that can take someone from interest and desire to action. All right, sales promotion is wonderful for doing that. But see, thanks, Michigan, rated #1 bank or credit union in the state. And so this has been their messaging. On billboard ads and everything else, like, hey, we are ranked #1. From an advertising standpoint, it's tough to compete with #1. And this is a very compelling, until they started advertising, I had no clue they even existed, to be quite honest with you. So this is an example of what you can do. You got the financials, earn nearly $450 a year with max checking. And so they've got that all here, their contact information. This is where the location is, and they've got, a newer location in Ann Arbor, so they're really expanding. And so they've got some interesting things going on, but this is a company, I've never received anything from them in the past, and then all of a sudden I'm getting things to my house and seeing them all over, highlighting we're ranked number one. Number one, very, very compelling statement to make or position to have in the marketplace. You know, we go back to the SWOT model. All right, so strength, we're ranked number one. So from an advertising standpoint, yes, you always want to highlight your strengths. You always want to highlight your strengths, and that's why I say it's to be aware of your strengths and weaknesses. And that way, yes, none of us is perfect. No facility is ever going to be perfect, but you can try to minimize your weaknesses. Okay, if you have controllable weaknesses and uncontrollable weaknesses, if you're in an urban area and the parking is a challenge for everyone downtown, then okay, the parking situation is just going to be a weakness that you can't control unless you relocate or build a parking garage or something like that. All right, but controllable weaknesses, you want to do what you can to mitigate, you know, to mitigate those negative weaknesses that are going to come out, word of mouth, online reviews, and all of that. So, moving on here to Burger King. So I get these, it seems about every month in the mail. They're sending me these, and so these come in with other direct mail to pieces to my home. But what we see here from an advertising standpoint, yes, Burger King's been around for years and decades and decades and decades, but highlighting here the app. So wanting to download the app, and we know that they ran a promotional offer that I highlighted a few Fitness Fridays ago about how they were competing head to head with McDonald's, where if you had the app, if you were in a certain radius within, if you were close enough to a McDonald's within a certain radius, you would actually be able to get discount on the Whopper. And so what you got here, this is also very promotions driven, sales promotions driven, coupons. So you're saving $120, but okay, Burger King, I'm aware of Burger King, interest. So what are they doing here? Interest, showing you this perfectly assembled burger. And full disclosure, I worked at Burger King and McDonald's before college in Louisiana, and like our burgers did not look like this. Just to be honest, our burgers did not look like this. So they have folks that really put these burgers and this food together well, you know, and our onion rings didn't look like this either. And so these pictures will stimulate interest in a product or service. And so beautifully assembled burger here, you know, highlighting the app, wanting folks to really download that, but also the compelling offer to take someone from interest, boy, a burger sure does sound good, or ooh, man, I think I want one, to bam, action phase, sales promotion, coupons. What can we do? What compelling offers do we have to help folks take the next step? And again, what you see here is pictures of beautifully assembled chicken sandwiches and fries, and our stuff did not look like this at our Burger King. You know, but that's all part of generating interest, putting the product or service in the best light during the early phases of the AIDA model. And Amazon Prime, just another quick example here. Amazon Prime, you see I actually received a book that I ordered, and so what did they highlight? So July 15th and 16th. So Amazon Prime Day used to be one day. Now I joined Amazon Prime in, it was actually the day after Thanksgiving. Yeah, the day after Thanksgiving of 2018. So I'm a newer member of Prime. So I haven't been participating in the Prime days and didn't know about all of that. But now I've learned and just read online that it's now 2 days instead of one. And so, so the package that it came in when it was delivered to my home, highlighting 2 days, epic deals. All right, so Prime Day, letting folks know the awareness phase of the AIDA model. Prime Day's coming up. It's 2 days. All right, so huge. Yeah, they could you know, send a mailer or something to my house, but this right here is just, because it's already a sunk cost because they have to mail the book to me in this anyway. So just to overlay some ad and some print on this, highlighting the days of Prime, the Prime days coming up. So huge. When we think about Amazon and why they're so successful, they do a lot of things right. They do a lot of things right. But this is just a really good example of that, and that's generating the awareness phase of the model. Also, when you think about the presentation of how, when I mentioned just going from the awareness, so think about somebody who's interested in, okay, so say it's December 20th, and a random person anywhere is thinking, as many people do, oh, I've got to get in shape. You know, then this is going to be my year. The upcoming year is going to be my year to eat right, to work out, whatever this and that. And so they're in a random grocery store or a convenience store or retail store, big box store, whatever. And so they're passing by, or they're checking out, getting ready to check out, putting things, and they see some of the magazines that are there. And so what we have, just some quick examples here in terms of awareness to the interest, desire to action. So you've got examples here for men's health. All right, so women's health again, women's health again, men's health, and men's health. So when you think about what they have to do, all right, so when you think about the folks that they choose, and this is true for just most magazines in general, while they have models, in these cases they will have sometimes fitness models, and particularly equipment manufacturers and fitness chains like your LA Fitness or Crunch Fitness or Anytime Fitness, how they'll have fit folks in their ads, because taking someone from the general awareness of Crunch Fitness may be a good gym to join. I mean, I've just heard about them and I saw their billboard, whatever the case may be, whatever. So then I see an ad, or they send me an email with these really fit instructor leading a group fitness class, and they're all motion shots, so really compelling in terms of being the potential to generate interest of, that class may be interesting. Okay, and then the desire, it marinates, it circles on the rotisserie of a person's mind. I may want to join that. What about Anytime Fitness? They're open 24/7. Then I got something, I got an email from them that says that they're doing this and that, moving them along the continuum. But see, in a situation like this, where someone's passing by it in the store, unless someone's a regular subscriber, they're passing by this in the store, they're checking out, whatever, they happen to see it as they're on the magazine aisle, in a particular, if they're in a big box store, whatever the case may be. So people have a short attention span. So you've got to get folks' attention quick. And so that's why you see the presentation and who these folks choose for, particularly, for these types of publications. I mean, they've got to have someone that looks the role. They've got to have someone that looks the part, that looks the role, because they've got to get people interested very quickly. They've got to get people interested. So if you have someone on the cover, and of course, it's, particularly for men, where it's so important, so much more important to be bulkier and have biceps and all of that, or at least, they don't have to be, big, huge bodybuilder biceps, but at least look like you've worked out, because they're trying to sell magazines. And so if they have a man on the front with no, with no muscle at all, and their goal is to sell magazines, it's going to be a struggle. Okay, we think about Terry Crews. All right, so this is important. So they're selling something here. People have short attention span. They've got to sell something. All right, so these are the types of things we think about generating interest. Who's on the cover? Who's in the ads? What are you showing in your advertising? Whether it be, particularly if you're going to be doing group fitness type of shots or personal training shots, it's so important to think about who it is that you're choosing for those ads. It's so important, because people, particularly from a fitness standpoint, is from a marketing standpoint, is very traditionally very aspirational. So you're in the market, you're a guy, and you want to get more fit, and you want to really evaluate your health and all of this. You want to be like Terry Crews. Okay, aspirational. So if I read this article and read these other tips, maybe I can have biceps like that. All right, if you have someone on the cover with no biceps, or that looks like they just have zero fitness participation involvement in their life, it's not going to sell magazines, quite frankly. It's not going to sell magazines, quite frankly. So just want to highlight that, how the fitness industry operates. And I've actually got a couple of bags here from some additional show and tell for some additional show and tell from a couple of other entities that spend a lot on advertising and particularly more promotional type of activities. And so hold that for the next one. I had to use some bags here because you can tell it's a lot of loose stuff. Hold these two. Yeah. So we all know from an advertising standpoint, Planet Fitness leads the fitness category. You talk about fitness facilities, they lead the category. And also another tool another metric, I should say, to evaluate the effectiveness of advertising efforts is brand recall. How many people will recall your specific brand, when asked. And there's very different ways, and just to utilize Planet Fitness to kind of stay on this theme as an example, a way to test or measure brand recall would be, if you get a focus group or you survey people and say, when you think about a inexpensive gym membership, what comes to mind? When you hear $10 a month gym membership, what comes to mind? And so the brand recall, people will say Planet Fitness. Oh, Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness, their brand recall is actually the highest in the industry of all their competitors, because they spend a lot of money on mass marketing, mass advertising. And so we see the ads on TV, assuming that there are locations in a market. And you may be watching saying, oh, I've never seen a Planet Fitness ad. Well, if they're not in your market, then that would explain why. But they spend a lot of money. And these are actually some of the goodies that I received when I went to the grand reopening of the Farmington Hills location. I believe that was the 26th of June of this year. And so I always love freebies and giveaways, but this was actually perfect because I said, you know what, I'm actually going to be highlighting these when you talk about this AIDA model, and how promotional items in terms of generating awareness and attention. And Planet does a lot of this. Yes, they have their PF store and they sell some merchandise within the clubs. But when they have in-club events and especially like grand reopenings or grand openings and things like that, they give away these goodies, and they're very generous. When you look at all these things that I got, just very generous with giveaways. But also it goes into the marketing strategy of awareness, generating awareness and attention. Yes, they have the highest recall. Yes, they're spending the most in the fitness industry amongst their competitors, and they just, from a marketing standpoint, just an absolute powerhouse. Yes, but they know you got to keep it going. It has to be continuous. Can't let up the gas, can't take your foot off the gas, so to speak. Have to continue to put that Planet Fitness name out there, particularly when you're looking to garner new members and new memberships, and their primary target audience, casual exercisers and first-time gym goers. So that's a very effective strategy from that standpoint. So you see here, we've got this little, and I wore this on my anniversary, my 2-year Planet anniversary that I had on that one episode a few weeks ago. So this is an example. It's highlighting the Detroit Pistons Planet Fitness partnership here in the Metro Detroit area, and I've also, the Detroit Tigers as well. They're partners with, but you can see here, got a sticker. We got this ball, and it's actually a plush ball. You know how usually they're real hard and stuff? I was like, ooh, this is nice and plush. But an example, okay? Keeping that Planet brand out there. So this is actually a pin. It's a Planet Fitness pin, and you've got, see the thumbs up here on the one end, very unique. I'm actually gonna put these, so I'm running out of space here with my hands. And you've got here, this is another piece. Let's see, look at this. All right. So you see this, you can clean your monitor, you can clean your smartphone, but also you can clean your glasses if you wear glasses, sunglasses, regular glasses. But also too, last freebie was a t-shirt. So yes, and everyone got one, and that was just so cool. But again, goes into just a perfect strategy, perfect fit in terms of their marketing strategy, who their target audience is, and what they're trying to do, just as an example. So don't try to compete. If you've got an annual marketing budget of $1,800, just don't try to compete. I always want to challenge you to do your best. Evaluate what channels work best for you. This may be this type of promotional dissemination may not work for you. Okay, so you always want to determine what does. That works very well for them, but you have to determine what works well for you. So I've got more purple. This time from my alma mater, Northwestern University. And as you can see, they too are very generous with giveaways, with just promotional items. And I'm an alumni leader. I have an alumni leadership role, have for a number of years. And so whenever I go back on campus, once or twice a year for meetings, they're always giving us swag. And so here's some example. The Northwestern alumni's water bottle. All right, so this too. Yeah, I don't drink coffee or hot tea, but this would be wonderful, I'm told, in order of being able to keep those things, either hot or cold if necessary. This was actually a volunteer service pin, appreciation pin, see with the N, alumni, and also with a picture of the Northwestern gateway to our campus there. Here's another. This was awesome and super wonderful. Received that too. Received this actually a few years ago, but it was pictures. Tech tattoos. And so you could see just, people have them on their phones. People I actually have them on my iPad cover, cover case. And so there's all of these different, Northwestern alumni. Yes, notepad. I've received thank you cards from my alma mater, for serving. They appreciate my leadership and my service. Yes, wonderful. And finally, I actually got this when I was just on campus in early May. And this was a swag bag. And so Alumni Association. So awareness. And promotional giveaways, and particularly in Northwestern does not do a lot of traditional advertising. And that's true for your more selective universities. It just would not be an effective strategy because they would be spending all of this money. They don't have a mass market approach versus a mass market approach versus a more niche strategy where they're reaching people, because it would be too expensive. Because if Northwestern's total cost of attendance, you look for the 2019-2020 school year, we're almost approaching $80,000 a year. Yes, a year. Incredible. Okay, so most people can't afford that. So for them to advertise, have this mass market advertising, you can clearly see. That's why I like to use non-fitness examples, so you can see that. If your fitness facility is charging, if you're looking to charge $50, $55 a month, all right, in your market demographics, if there's certain pockets within your city, then you need to be very strategic in terms of targeting those certain pockets of your city, in zip codes, whatever the case may be, after you've conducted your market research. Because if you do mass market research, that's just going to be mass market in terms of advertising and all of that. That is going to be very expensive, and you're going to be reaching a whole lot of people, and it's truly going to be a waste of time. Because it may be a situation in your market where 95% of the people can't afford to pay $50 or $55 a month, but there's segments of the market that can. You got to be very strategic. So either you're going to have a mass market type of approach, or you're going to have more of a niche type of marketing approach. And so Northwestern, just in terms of cost, is a turnoff for a lot of people, or just the inability to afford that. It's realistic and understandable. There's a lot of money. And also just academically, it's just a very strong academic university. And so, the average person, if someone graduates, with all due respect, with a 2.0 or 2.5, you are not getting in to Northwestern. There's no exceptions. And so that would be a situation, if they're targeting students that way, then it would just be a waste of time. Okay, they're focusing. We've got alumni admission staff that go all across the country to certain high schools and certain areas of the country. Here in our Metro Detroit area, they're looking at Novi, they're looking at Northville, they're looking at the Grosse Pointe area, Troy, Ann Arbor, most definitely. So some of the more, and certainly more, but certainly some of the more affluent areas. Why? Because they're top Bloomfield, West Bloomfield Hills as well. Yes, the schools are strong, some top ranked schools, but also parents and the income in those areas is very high. Higher incomes, and they know that the parents more than likely would be able to, particularly in Bloomfield Hills area, would be able to write out a check to pay for their child's tuition, just whatever. And so from affordability standpoint, they know if you go into some of these areas that are more affluent, then the ability for the parents to pay, is certainly higher. And so that's an example. And so there's a lot of emphasis, particularly on alumni. They do a lot for us, but from a student targeting standpoint, they're very strategic in terms of where they target, where they focus, and I challenge you to do the same. If you've got a lower priced facility, lower priced studio, whatever the case may be, then bam, yes, you can have more of a mass market approach, but you still want to be strategic. You still want to do your research and focus on and where your market research tells you the opportunity or the opportunities lie. All right, but that's going to be an opportunity to have more of a mass market. All right, so versus a more, if you've got a more expensive product, a more expensive service, a luxury type of facility. All right, you got your $30 to $36 to $38 facilities that I mentioned last time, your boutique facilities. All right, Orange Theory Fitness, if you got $150 a month for a limited membership, at least here in our Metro Detroit area, one of their clubs, okay, everyone can't afford, quite honestly, most people can't afford that, just from a discretionary income standpoint. But also, yeah, the affordability is a factor, but I would also argue that the interest, just again, we have so many people in this country, we have an obesity epidemic that the CDC, or Centers for Disease Control, points out every year. So you got so many people that are either overweight or obese, so there's just no interest overall in fitness, but then the cost as well. So you got an interest factor, but also you've got the affordability factor, which we can really make those kind of boutique facilities more of a challenge from a mass market standpoint to advertise and all of that. But they're very strategic. Those Orange Theory, just utilize them as an example because I studied them. You've heard me talk about them in a number of episodes for a few years now. But they fill those clubs up pretty quickly. The demand for those clubs is high. They do well. You look at their online reviews. Those clubs do extremely well. All right, just different modality, but the cost does not inhibit, because as I talked about last episode, if you build value, if that value proposition is strong enough, people will pay more. People will pay more. But you've got to adjust your advertising strategy, marketing strategies in order to be able to effectively target people who will be most receptive to your product or service. Because it doesn't matter, going back to, I want to close this episode out, the overall AIDA model, so awareness, interest, desire, and action. Somebody could be very, very well aware of your facility, your studio, whatever you have to, the fact that you're there, that's wonderful. But there's some steps and some time and a process to get them to the action. All right, so there's going to be pricing factors and all of that, and what you're doing and what your value proposition is, and how you're communicating that, how you're advertising and marketing that can help to either that person just will stay right there at the awareness phase and not move on into interest and desire, or conversely, you can move them all the way through from awareness all the way to action, which is truly what you want them to do. Join your club, become a member, all of that. So folks, that's all I have for you today. I look forward next time to continuing this conversation on marketing. I've completed the 4 Ps. So we're going to be moving, we've completed the first 3 aspects of the 4 Ps. So we're shifting into the final P, which is promotion. We're going to spend some episodes talking about promotion. So it's going to be more show and tell, non-fitness industry examples as well as fitness industry examples. So stay tuned. But until then, remember, I am positively passionate about your fitness and success. Make it a great day.